Where were you when you heard that announcement?
Good. There was so much traffic that day. I didn't see traffic. I was in the house. Danjuma, Adelanwa, Domkat Bali, and their oddlies, they were in the traffic. For about an hour, they didn't move. So the three of them came to my house that we should go in my boat. I told you, the boat will be useful one day, and now it's useful. You take care of difficult things when they are easy. When you have a problem, then you work hard to make it easy. When things are easy for you, think about problems. If you're able to think about the problems, then you solve them. If we didn't have that boat, they would have ambushed all of us in the traffic. So, they came by boat. I saw Rabo, the officer that was assigned to kill us. But Dimka had told him that if they came by Alabi's boat, because they didn't see them in the traffic.
So they were waiting to ambush them in the traffic?
Yes.
The way they ambushed Murtala Muhammad on the road?
That's exactly what they wanted to do. So, Rabo was my student at the military school. He tried to salute. I just hugged him and he had a rifle. What are you doing here? He said, nothing, sir. I will tell you later. Okay, all right. He saluted and we went. We had the senior officers meeting for that day to start at 9 o'clock. We're talking about 7:45 now.
So Danjuma, the chief of army staff, came in your boat?
They came in my boat. I wrote that in this book. And the picture of the boat is in this boat, in this book. So Akinade was waiting for me in my office. He had arrived earlier. The night before from Kaduna, he was GOC of 1 division.
He has heard about the coup?
No.
By that time?
No. He was just waiting in my office. And in Marine Commando, we had what was called umbrella security, which is for one person. Then we had carpet security, which is for a group of people. Then we had rainbow security, which is like to cover the whole of your area. If they capture somebody here, we will look at rainbow security, carpet security, and the rainbow may eventually capture the person. It happened. When Adekunle was shot, the Biafrans ambushed Adekunle. They infiltrated wearing Nigerian uniform. The story is here. And when they couldn't capture Adekunle, they got his radio operator. I have the picture in this book. So by the time we alerted the carpet and the rainbow security, we were able to get the boy back. And Adekunle was firing against these people that ambushed him. So, talking about Dimka, I got to my office. Akinade was waiting for me. The phone rang. Within 15 minutes that Muritala was killed, within 15 minutes, that was part of the umbrella security. The lady called me. Akinade picked the phone. And then the lady said, they've just killed Muritala Muhammad in the traffic now. Akinade gave me the phone, say, look, they killed somebody. Here's your phone. And this person was called Miss Abiodun, part of my security, my own security.
Part of your own security?
Yes. The reason for that was because I was working between the people that know how to do coups. There was Babaginda, there was Danjuma. These were coup people. And I was to be amongst them.
So you needed to employ your private agents?
I had my own civilians around me.
Giving you information?
Giving me information of the goings on. And so within 15 minutes that this Muritala Muhammad was shot, the phone rang. Akinade picked it up. They killed somebody who take your phone.
So by this time, Danjuma Didn't know what was going on.
I and Akinade, we both went to tell Danjuma that there is a coup. We should turn the radio on. We turned up my radio, and it was announcing dawn to dusk.
At what point did Babangida come into the story?
Okay. Now, because we were expecting senior officers meeting for that day. So officers were arriving. I went to tell Danjuma that there is a coup and it's organized by Dimka, and I have one of the boys called Rabo. I ran downstairs quick. I told Danjuma about the coup with Akinade, and then I was looking for Sani Sami, who was the Brigade of Guards commander, the commander of the Brigade of Guards.
Responsible for the protection of the head of state.
So I saw Babangida. In Babangida's book, he said it was Danjuma that told him, it's okay. That's the way he saw it. That's his opinion. He can put an adjective to describe himself, but not to demonize anybody. Because if he had said that, oh, Danjuma told me, and a useless Alabi or useless Akinade did not do it, I will attack him.
So the point here is that you told Babangida about the coup?
Yes.
Not Danjuma?
No, I told Danjuma in Danjuma's office.
So who told Babangida about the coup?
It was in that same office. We were assembling for the meeting. So then I said, Babangida, you go and take the armor. You, Mayaki, you go and take the infantry, because we can't find Sani Sami. In Babangida's book, he said it was Danjuma that told him, it's okay. Anybody could have told you. But he said in his book, in Babangida's book, that Danjuma told him to go and flush out Dimka. Flush out is not a military language.
Are you saying...
I told him to go take Dimka, dead or alive, and bring him.
That's what you told him?
That was the order I gave.
Were you the one who gave order, or Danjuma?
I gave the two of them, Mayaki and Babangida. I wrote that in this book, and nobody has said no.
So,
but Babangida said Danjuma told him. Danjuma told him to go and flush out. I will never use the word flush out. They killed the head of state. They killed the head of state of this country. Why will I tell you to go and flush him out? Flush him out is to make him run away. And it made him to run away. Then in his book, in Babagida's book, he said when he came back, Danjuma told him to go back. You mean the man will be waiting for you? Then he said he took Sani Sami. I was looking for Sani Sami. They said they surrounded the place. How will you have surrounded the place? That's the first thing you will have done.
You know, Babangida also makes the point that at that point in time, he felt the best option was to negotiate with Dimka.
I agree.
And the Radio Nigeria complex.
There's no problem with that.
Because they were civilians.
But you must bring him. You must bring him.
To bring him at that point would have been bloody, because Dimka was armed.
Okay.
And he had his men armed.
Was he not armed?
He was armed too.
And what will happen?
Bloodshed.
There will be bloodshed.
But he didn't want...
already killed the head of state.
But he didn't want that.
How will he? It's not his decision to want. He had to take an order. He had to take an order.
But his decision paid off, didn't it?
Which decision?
There was no bloodshed.
My friend, they had killed the head of state. They had killed his orderly. What bloodshed are you waiting for?
I mean, at the Radio Corporation house.
All right, if you surrounded the place, then you hold on. You hold on to the place. You will have surrounded the place. And they will give up.
Dimka eventually escaped.
Of course he escaped. By the time they put the cordon and all that, they allowed Dimka to escape. And I wrote in this book that was a court-martial offense. I gave you an order of what to do, bring the man dead or alive, and you allowed him to escape. I wrote there that it's a court-martial offense.
But he wasn't court-martialed.
They played North versus South with me. Danjuma just waved it with an open hand. And eventually, when Danjuma and Babangida quarreled, it was in the newspaper where he was saying that he would have been court-martialed.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Are you in class? Are you following the story? Let me know if you are following the story. Leave your messages. Sama in this interview, the ongoing interview said, Babangida said it was Danjuma that told him. From Babangida's book, Babangida said it was Akinriade that told him. Remember, Akinriade has been mentioned. So it wasn't Danjuma that Babangida said told him of the coup. It is Akinriade. It is stated in this book. You know, while that interview was going on, I wasn't good with Babangida's book. I wanted to stop General Isama at some point. But I said, okay, let him make his point. I will use the book to state IBB's point. And the interview with General Isama is the longest interview in my career. I've not had an interview for about 5 hours. Alabi Isama had a lot to say, and he's 85. And I said, let him see everything. I might not have the opportunity again. So he said, and I was the one asking him to stop. He wasn't ready to stop. He's so energetic at 85. I'm still doubting. He's so straight. You know, at some point, I had to give him a marker. He went to the board. He began to break down the Scorpion strategy of war, how the Nigerian troop captured Port Harcourt or Bubra. You know, those strategies. He's a strategist. He's a military strategist. The Alabi Isama interview. There is a lot to hear from him on the war, on the military, on Obasanjo. But on this edition, Alabi Isama has issues with Obasanjo's role in that coup. He's going to tell the story. But let's hear from Babangida again. I remember exactly how I felt that morning when General Akinriade broke the news to me. I was utterly shattered and devastated. And I remember muttering to myself as I walked towards General Danjuma's office, Dimka organizing a coup? That's not a serious character. I mean, Babangida is saying Dimka was not a serious person. So when he heard that Dimka was the one who organized the coup, he said, Dimka, of all persons? How? How could he contemplate such a thing? Dimka? That's impossible. That's how Babangida wrote it in his book. When I met with Danjuma, his instructions were unambiguous. Ibrahim, go to the radio house and flush Dimka out of that place immediately. Alabi Isama says flush is not a military language. Yes, Babangida used it in his book. When I met with Danjuma, his instructions were unambiguous. Ibrahim, go to the radio house and flush Dimka out of that place immediately. But Alabi Isama makes the point that he was the one who gave Babangida the order, not Danjuma. But he did not use the word flush. Babangida did not mention Isama in his narrative. Obasanjo did not mention Isama in his narrative. What is it that they had against Isama? You know, eventually, they dismissed him from the army. That clique dismissed Isama from the army. But Isama refuses to be dismissed. He still calls himself Brigadier General. That was his last position in the army. I asked him, why didn't you go to court? He said he won't go to court. That a soldier is always a soldier. That he fought the war. And no one can take that experience from him. He said he did not challenge it. But the future will challenge it. And he calls himself general anywhere he goes. And he keeps that term. No one has dared to challenge him.